Hi, how you doing? Trust you're having a very restful day. It's a very long holiday, so let's take advantage of it and try and rest as much as possible. Okay, so today I have a lot of things to tell you. I'll try and make the video as short as possible. So please listen to the end because I have some deliverables or some exercise for you to do. Okay, so today I'll be looking at the primary and the secondary sources or the secondary components of anger or emotions, as the case may be. For the secondary sources, there are things we are familiar with. It has to do with yelling, outbursts, throwing temper tantrums. Those are the things, the secondary sources that a lot of people are familiar with. But what some people don't know, or what quite a number of people don't know, is that those things are as a result of something caused the secondary sources to manifest itself. And that is what I want us to focus on, because when you're able to identify those primary things, right, you'll be able to manage your emotions better. You'll be able to understand the reason behind your anger in the first place. So secondary sources, as I said, has to do with you yelling, has to do with you your outburst, it has to do with you throwing a temper tantrum, it has to do with you physically attacking someone. But what is the core components of the secondary anger? That is the primary sources of or primary components of anger. And really, if you look at all those outbursts, something triggered it, right? And then it can range from issue to issue or from situations to situations. It might be as a result of the fact that you feel the person disappointed you. It might be that you feel rejected. It might be to your own insecurity, right? It might be to the fact that you are afraid. It might be the fact that you are sad. So I've mentioned like 5 different things now. Okay, it can be more than that. So anytime there's an outburst, right, it's not the outburst itself that we should focus on. It's the primary component of what caused the outburst that we should look at, and that is what we'll be focusing on. So we'll be doing a lot of deep dive on Saturday to look at the primary component. But the first deliverable for you is, number one, I want you to think through a lot of times that you've gotten angry. Either you had outbursts or not, right? A lot of times that you've gotten really infuriated. Because anger is necessary, right? But when you don't or manage it well, or when you are not able to communicate your displeasure in a way that the other person understands, then the purpose is defeated. So I want you to think through all those times, through whilst you're growing up, relationship with your siblings, relationship with your parents, relationship with your co-workers, relationship with friends, relationship with your boyfriends, right? I want you to think through those relationship, or those times that you've had a lot of outbursts. What do you think was the primary focus of those things, or that caused, or primary component that caused that anger? Is it the fact that you felt rejected? Is it the fact that you were afraid of rejection? Is it the fact that you were frustrated? Is it the fact that you were just insecure in who you are? Now, you have to tell yourself the truth, okay? The first step to change really is being able to tell yourself the truth. So if you feel, oh, I have insecurity issues, and that's why I feel this way, or that's why I reacted this way when I had an outburst with this person, write it down. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to do. So think through as many events. Now, you don't need to write the events down. I'm just particularly interested in knowing the primary components of your anger over the years. Then we'll look at it. So there's inferred what you think it is, right, and what it really is. So that's number one deliverable for you. The second one is that I want you to ask yourself, who do you blame for those outbursts and reaction? Do you blame the other party, or do you blame yourself? I want you to think through them. So, like, for example, if you say, how many times, let's say you're able to think through 10 out or situations that have happened in the past. In those 10 situations, did you blame the other person? How many times did you blame the other person for your outburst? Or they made me do that? Or how many times were you able to blame or pinpoint the outburst, the cause of the outburst to yourself? So that's the deliverable number 2. Okay, so I hope you're getting it. All right. So that's that. Okay, so I want to talk about also the expressing and the suppressing form of anger. So anger, expressing of anger comes in different way. So when you express your anger, right, it can come in the form of you yelling. That if you have emotions management issues, it might come in the form of you yelling, it might come in the form of you shouting, it might come in the form of you being defensive, it might come in the form of you being physical. So that's the expressive side of anger, right? Then the suppressing aspect of anger is it might come in the form of the person withdrawing, secluding themselves from the crowd. It might come in the form of guilt, you guilt tripping and blaming yourself about a lot of it. It might come in the form of addiction. Okay, so someone is very, very angry, but they're not the kind of person that would express it. So they take it in and they just become addicted to certain things, okay, because they don't want to face the situation of the issue at the moment. It might be in the form of being very docile and being very submissive, because oh, this person is very submissive. They are submissive because they do not have faith in themselves. Okay, so it might come in that form as well too. And this video is going to take, I don't want to be more than 10 minutes, so maybe I'll do another video tomorrow. Okay, so I also want to look at so I looked at the expressive and the suppressive. We call it the fight and the flight option. So I understand that practice from engaging you that you choose the fight option. Okay, you're not the one that would take it in and just leave it into yourself. Okay, so the goal is not to make you fight, and the goal is not to make you flight. The goal is to be able to help you find a balance and a middle ground between fight and flight. Okay, all right. So right, yeah. So when we speak on Saturday, we'll look at the origin of anger itself. Is it due to the upbringing? Is it due to harsh or disengaged upbringing? Is it due to a coping mechanism? Maybe you're trying to avoid a particular issue, or you're trying to turn your attention away from something into something else. Is it due to having a low self-esteem? Probably you do not have enough faith in yourself, and as a result of that you express it in some certain form. So look at all of those things. Is it because you feel that you'll be able to have more control over someone than having compassion for them? So some people lash out because they feel that, yeah, if I'm compassionate, if I'm empathetic, people are going to walk all over me, they're going to take advantage. So what's actually bringing that kind of mindset? Is it something that's happened in the past? Is it something that's happened to your parent that you have seen? Is it something that's happened to other people as well? Okay, all right, so that is that. So let me quickly run through some of the impacts and consequences of anger. And the second deliverable I have for you would be in this. I think it's the third deliverable actually that I have for you will be in this. So yeah, you would know and you would understand some of the impact and consequences of anger because you've experienced it over the years. But I would run through some of them, and then I want you to tell me how some of those consequences have shown themselves in your life. So we need to put that down. Okay, so number one is that, so I have a lot of things written here, so I'll look at it and I'll explain. So number one is that when you get angry and you're very irritable, you're going to push people away. That's the truth. A lot of people will not be able to stand you, and people that would stand you are people that don't have a choice. Maybe your subordinates, right? And if they have the option to leave, they would leave. Okay, they're going to push people away, they're going to intimidate people instead of them respecting you. Some people feel that, oh, I am respected. That's not true. That's why it's good to actually take feedback, so you're going to keep intimidating people and they would not respect you. When they have the opportunity to tell you to your face, they will tell you to your face. So the goal is to make people respect you and not to intimidate people. Okay, and when you intimidate people, you're going to push them away, which also points to the first thing I mentioned. Okay, another thing is that when you do not manage your emotions well, and when you do not when you don't master your emotions, it's going to lead to a lot of stress and anxiety. You begin to magnify issues. The issue that you should not even cause you stress at all will begin to cause you stress, which can lead to heart problems. It can lead to high cholesterol level, right? In fact, research has shown that when people get angry, there's certain emotion that elicits in them that can lead to high cholesterol, right? So yeah, it's been proven. You can also read it up, so it leads to stress, anxiety, and high cholesterol level. It's a total waste of energy. Sometimes what you should have that energy of putting that anger, of ruminating over it, of meditating on it, can be directed to something more productive, right? So it leads to a waste of energy. It can lead to loss of opportunities. Stories are bound all over of how people lost opportunities because they could not put their emotions in check. They lost opportunities because they could not control and manage their emotions. Okay, so it will stifle growth, if you do not manage your emotions appropriately. And for some people, it can lead to depression, because when you begin to think, you begin to realize that people don't like you, and then you need to ask yourself, why don't they like me? And then, of course, those thoughts will begin to overwhelm someone that say, okay, you're not liked, you're not valuable, you're not this, and it might just be as a result of you pushing them away because of how you react to certain things, and that can lead to a downward dive, which can lead to depression. And some people have taken their lives because they feel that they are not appreciated, they are not respected, they are not this, they are not that. And it might just be, the primary reason might just be because, okay, they are always pushing people away, and it can lead to physical damage of properties. That's the extreme. Some people get really angry and start throwing things everywhere. You would bear the consequences of that. Okay, another thing is that it can lead to reduced productivity, especially when you do not have a good relationship with your colleagues, or your friends. Okay, and then anger can also help you. It can also be a form of you covering up some emotional damages that you've gone through in the past. Okay, you need to uncover it and heal up, so that you can move on with your life. And the last two things I have here is that it can lead to loneliness. Trust me, nobody wants to be lonely. You should not be lonely. Okay, but loneliness, as I usually say, is not because you have a lot of people around you. If you're a lonely person, if you're a lonely person as a single person, you'll be a lonely person as a married person. Okay, so but pushing people away can lead to loneliness, right? And the final thing is that you are a slave to your anger, to your emotions. Okay, there's a saying that you are a slave to whatever it is that you cannot control, right? So you're giving the control of your life to other people when you cannot manage your emotions appropriately. But the good news is, as I wrap up, is that emotions can be learned, right? Nobody is born with bad emotions or anger. There are things that we pick up. So it's just like a habit, as I said. So if it's a habit, that means that we can actually create and form another form of habit. And that is the goal of what we're trying to work towards in the next 3 weeks, right? So yeah, just know that it's not a part of you. This is not the way you are. You can change it. You have the power and the capacity to change it. So just to recap on the deliverables, I said, number one, I need you to think through a lot of times. So it will require you thinking a lot of times and find what was the primary, what do you think was the primary cause or the primary components of your anger, all of those times that you've gotten angry. Okay, so you can manage to listen to the video again to know them. So that's number one. Number two is that I also need you to think through a situation, maybe like 10 or 15 situations where you've gotten angry, and who do you think, so out of 10 you say, I was able to think through 10 situations, or I was able to think through 15 situations in the past. Of these 15 situations, I blame other people. Maybe 10 times I blame other people, 5 times I blame myself. So I want to know. Okay, and then the third thing I want you to do is that over the course of you growing up and you relating with people, what has been the consequence or the impact of your outbursts, of not managing your emotions very well. I do not want you to look at this is not only about anger management, right? It's about emotions management. Okay, so I'm using them interchangeably. So it's about emotion. The course is emotions management and mastery. So it's not only about anger, it's about emotions, and emotion can come in different form. Okay, and so really we're looking at trying to manage negative emotions and capitalizing on positive emotions. Okay, so I hope you found this video very useful. 15 minutes. All right, so I don't think I'll do a video tomorrow. I'll just give you time to walk through your deliverables. Tomorrow it's Friday, right? So on Saturday morning we'll see, and then we'll look through what you have written, and then we'll have an in-depth session into some other things that way. Enjoy the rest of your day, dear. Thank you.